Hey folks, this is Vent with Dad's Gaming Addiction, and today we're going to quickly check out Sunkenland. This is a game that you can find on Steam's Early Access program for about 20 bucks or so. When I stress Early Access, that means everything that you're about to see here is most definitely subject to change. So Idly and I got some press copies for this game, and based on what we've played so far, this game is kind of like Stranded and Raft and some other survival games that involve a lot of water. Now, I will say that this is more of a first impressions video. We didn't get that far. The game is extremely grindy. There's a lot of resources to gather, lots of going up and down in the water to collect these resources, and so on. So as far as character creation, it's very limited. There's just a couple of sliders that you can adjust, and the options available on those sliders are very meek, unfortunately. Like, just a couple of different hairstyles, even hair color, for example, is pretty limited. But that's not really the focus of the game. You're not creating a sim in like The Sims. I mean, it does the job, I guess, but I just wish there was a bit more. And you can also adjust like server region, whether or not it's available to the public. You can set a password if it is. And you can have, I think, up to about 15 people on a server at one point. I haven't tried that. Idly and I spent about, an hour or two as, just testing out the game. But you can also create a world and adjust their difficulties in various ways. Enemy difficulty, the garrison amount, like enemies will have bases, and that'll determine how much they have, how many people are on there. Enemy raid frequency, yes, they will come and attack you. They'll swim in the water after you, and you'll see that in a little bit. Survival difficulty, friendly fire, you can share research, map, flag, and a lot of stuff. So I do appreciate that aspect of it. We kept our settings lax just because, well, we don't know what we're doing yet. So speaking of which, when you first start out in this game, you're sort of just thrust onto this island. It's called Castaway Island, and of course you're given this axe. Luckily, these tools don't have durability, so you don't have to worry about crafting an axe for the 10th time in an hour, which is nice. So you can just keep using the axe as much as you want. But the problem is, the resources on the island that you start on, it's this very small island, it's very limited. So it forces you to go into the water, dive down below, and scavenge for resources. And typically that involves either hitting something with your axe to break it, there'll be a little axe symbol, or just hold in the interact button to scavenge something and break it and collect stuff. Now, the whole idea is, there's this really large map, and you're going to be exploring it as you go. There are enemy factions in the world. Again, they will attack you. And there is a factions tab that allows you to see how many islands they control, how many enemies in that faction are there. There's even a blueprint section. As you find blueprints, you can unlock new technologies. And there's even a research table, which you'll see in a little bit, that you can research new technologies, and there's even like 4 upgrades to it to unlock even more things. There's an inventory and a build menu. There's like base building with the foundations and stuff. There's bonfires. There's water purifiers, grills for plants. There's planters, so you can grow more trees or possibly like berry bushes. And like I said, you can build walls and foundations, doors, and that's all that. So that's the general gameplay flow. You build a base until you run out of resources, until you're forced to dive down and get more. Wood can be found underwater, of all things. It's like some sort of like underwater Atlantis situation. Just breaking apart wooden dressers and you'll get some wood. Maybe scavenge some cars and you get some scrap metal or possibly some rubber. Various resources. There's even a pickaxe that you can craft, and you can get like sulfur from sulfur deposits underwater. Of course, oxygen is like one of your primary resources. It drains very fast. Yes, you can equip things like fins to swim faster. There's a slight RPG mechanic to this, in that you can equip like a chest slot, head slot, other miscellaneous things to help you out with that. So think, again, Raft, very simple, and some other, light RPG games that I've played. But there's no like skill points or leveling up. There's no like individual skill trees, which is unfortunate. But, there's a lot of progression via just research and collecting resources and building stuff. That's going to take up most of your time. Unfortunately, it's a huge grind for resources. That's been my experience. Half the time I was just trying to look around, trying to find more wood, trying to find more stuff. I didn't do the fishing, but according to Ida Lee, it's very tedious and not enjoyable. So as far as like attacks on your island, these people just swim up to your island. They don't come in a boat as far as I can tell. They just kind of swim. It's so weird. It's like they come out of nowhere. I wish there was a bit more warning or whatever, but it's just... Yeah, our first encounter were like these two skeleton-like figures. Just the music changed. I'm like, what's going on? And then we turned around. There's a couple more attacking our base, and we dispatched them. And again, you can set that into difficulty, how often they attack you. As far as I can tell, though, you can't turn it off. I could be wrong about that. But anyway, yeah, as you find stuff, you can place it in your little house. You'll find decorative items that are purely cosmetic. And the problem with the game that I had is that sometimes the game isn't very intuitive in what you're supposed to do. Like, I didn't know if I could, like, pick up something. If I destroy it, do I get the full resources back? No, you get half resources back. So like there's little things through trial and error that I had to figure out as I played it. The ultimate goal, as far as I can tell, is just craft enough gear and get far enough with your gear to be able to start invading the other islands. There's clearly a progression route with that. One clan just has this little raft, for example, and has like spears and crossbows. And then another faction had guns. And as soon as I started approaching their territory, they were starting to shoot at me. And I'm like, okay, I'm not meant for this yet, because I have a little dinky spear, which pretty much does no damage whatsoever. But in looting these locations, you get various like clothing and resources and blueprints. So like I'm having a good time with this. It's chill, but that's mainly because it's like based on the difficulty settings that we assign to it. But I'm enjoying it. Like I want to continue playing this. I want to expand my base. Again, my only complaint really is like the tutorial is like, there's barely any there. Like there was really no direction or telling me what to do next. It's just, figure this out, right? Can I pick this up? Oh, I need one of these crate thingies that I have to lift. I have to craft. It's like a crate, and then you point at an object and it allows you to pick it up. But in the beginning of the game, you don't have a hammer. You don't have that particular crate object to pick stuff up. So like you don't know if you place something down, how do I pick this up? So it's like, yeah, like the learning curve is there because there's a lack of direction, a lack of intuitive design. But still, it's early access, and we've already been playing for like an hour or two. And, I see the map is pretty big. I'm really looking forward to getting all the rest of the technologies, to exploring the other islands and seeing what's on them, and to build a gigantic base at some point. Just building what we have took a lot of work, and it's not even complete yet. Like, we don't even have roofs yet. Yes, you can sleep. There are beds so that you can pass the night time. There is a cold mechanic. If you go in the water at night, you get cold, so you have to stay next to a fire to warm up. All in all, great game. Highly recommend checking it out. If you like games like Stranded or Raft, that kind of thing, then by all means check it out, especially better with friends. Combat's a bit iffy. The hitboxes are awful, and it's just not very fluid, but hopefully that's something that they can fix later down the line. This is Vince. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you all next time. Take care.